Hi, this is episode 303, which is the third episode from the third season. It's called My Old Kentucky Home. And I'm Matthew Weiner, and I'm here with Dahvi Waller.
Hello.
And the script was, this story was really an endpoint for a lot of the ongoing stories of the season. And some of them had been delayed a little bit, and some of them were really, it was just essential that they be covered here. And it was structured as an idea that everybody was getting the day off, but what it's really about is class.
I played the nurse in Romeo and Juliet.
We know the Anne Margaret thing was underway from the previous episode, and here we see the casting.
Of Harry's face here.
Yeah, Harry, who's not even supposed to be in there, and Janie did a great job of
That outfit.
giving us an Anne Margaret outfit. I asked for a little less belly because I thought she had to try and get the job. And by the way, we had cast already the woman who was actually going to play her, so we had to find another one.
Who is almost as good.
Yes.
You are not in this process. You're a spectator.
And it was a decision also to not have the woman who actually got the part be the one who played this
That was
audition
very
part.
conscient, right?
Because we always wanted to feel like it's part of the we like to show the process.
Exactly. And this idea that this Anne Margaret story is happening over 3 episodes, and you're just seeing how it really would unfold at the agency. It's kind
Right.
of great.
And now this is something that Josh gave us, which is basically that why would they have to stay over the weekend? And this idea that they need more work on a campaign that already exists is a very essential part of advertising. They need situations. They need to find the legs in the campaign.
Derby Day.
You going back in time?
Are any of you wearing seersucker? I don't want to look like a barbershop quartet.
Now, believe it or not, this is not the first time Derby Day has been part of the show. In the first season, Sally's birthday party, there are julep cups. That was Derby Day also.
We all started at the same
I
time.
love this.
I've been here 6 years longer than you.
Here's a chance.
Creative.
They hate creative.
That it's totally sets up where creative is in the hierarchy of Sterling Cooper.
Now, this, of course, was, a dramatic... we haven't seen Jane since last season. We heard that they were actually married off screen.
I love that this is the first time we're seeing her, and this outfit just captures the new Mrs. Sterling so beautifully. Janie just outdid herself.
Yeah. And then Joan, too. I mean, the girl fight nature of it, the standoff between the two of them, the shot is incredibly well done.
Where are you living now? Same old place, but we're looking. We're thinking about Riverdale.
Tom Wilson, the editor of this, I've mentioned him on a few of these. We're doing, for some reason, I've done a bunch of his shows at once, and he just really manages to cut to the heart of this thing. There are lines that get dropped, but to me, this was a fight for them diminishing each other through status. So I'm never going to say anything nasty to you, and you're never going to say anything nasty to me. We're just going to brag at each other and reveal this.
Black him down.
And it's great, given season 2, the conflict between them, how this just completely resets that and just
Right.
makes Joan so insecure.
Yeah. And now we have the introduction of... Now, Peggy had a different secretary in the first episode, Lola, who we heard was getting engaged. Now, our rationale behind this was that Peggy was given a secretary by Joan,
That's what I've been drinking, right?
and we love the idea that she was older than her, and the dynamic of the story is really that this is a mother to her.
Exactly.
And that Peggy somehow is realizing, even the episode before this, she went out and had a fling, her real first sexuality since having the baby. And here she is. And there's Betty Draper looking really cute and really pregnant.
And a lot of potatoes.
And the potatoes, yeah.
Which I remember had to be a very specific size.
Well, I didn't want them to be gigantic potatoes, but I also wanted them to read. And
About a dress.
Don doesn't want to go to this Derby Day thing. He doesn't want to have a social relationship with Roger.
The warmth of the climate disposed the natives to most intense
Now,
enjoyment.
there was a consensus in the room that men get to be a certain age and they become obsessed with ancient history, be it Napoleon, the Romans, the Greeks, and...
I love how you chose the Roman Empire, because what we're about to see with the Derby Day party really is the decadence that she's reading about.
This is the whole thing to me, is that I really felt this was about the crumbling of the society. I hope it's not too on the nose, but what I loved is that and you found these quotes in the book, that it seems inappropriate for a child, but it's their relationship, is that he knows she's smart.
He treats her like a peer in a way that her parents don't, which...
This episode's all about trust and their relationship. Go wash your teeth directly from my grandfather. Like, close the light. And he's trying to let her know that the story isn't boring. And you see Don being a dad. And that's the end of the first day. So now we have the weekend where they have to work.
In weekend wear.
In weekend wear.
Which is fun.
They're working on an alcohol account, so they're entitled to drink.
What is your secret?
I use Harry Craig.
And we also are seeing a little bit of Peggy's dynamic now in this relationship because she is a copywriter. Smitty is not her partner, but
It's rum and coke.
they all have to do it.
Cherry? All we have is olives.
But Paul still thinks he's in charge.
Yes.
Even though he's been excluded from
And new copy.
the management.
Yes, he
He's
has.
taking charge here.
It's Bacardi-licious.
And this is good
It's
because
Bacardi
this is how people think advertising works. It's just like cute little slogans coming up, but
They're probably drinking.
it's literally the last thing.
Booze puts me to sleep. I will take grass any hour of the day. Helps me think.
When I was
Smitty's
in
jacket is
I
exquisite.
wrote my senior thesis.
And I love that you. Now, I should reveal that Dahvi went to Princeton. Paul went to Princeton before I ever met Dahvi, but the idea of exploiting this was very important. Right
It's a
down
very
to the.
special episode for my alma mater.
But did we realize that Ralph Nader was probably a
He was
year?
class of 55.
Yeah.
I purposely made them class of 55 because I like the Ralph Nader connection.
Yeah, and he was not really famous yet. He would be in the next year.
Exactly.
And I love the way that this is done. This is also just an achievement of, I love the office silent, and I love the lighting in here. This is
Beautiful.
weekend lighting. Everything's off.
I love, and that was in the script, that all the lights were off in the office, and it gives a completely different look. When we were shooting it, it was just amazing.
The cinematography in this scene in particular. And this is a thing, all of these scripts come in long. This is a thing that people felt was expendable, but I just felt this showed the age difference between them. It showed the kind of person that Olive was, and it showed that Peggy was basically subservient to this woman, even though this woman was her secretary.
That she was basically reacting to her like she is her mother.
Yeah.
She's like this replacement mother.
And she's just puttering around in the kitchen.
What I seem as important as Cosgrove.
Paul can't let it go.
Paul cannot let it go the whole show.
But, you know, it's not just a Midsummer Night's Dream. I mean, I really wanted Don and Betty to have this kind of Italian movie experience there. I wanted it to be a series of small things and small. I love that these characters carry their pasts around with them. And we didn't establish them all at once, but they get to open it up all at once.
I just walked backwards all the way from the living.
That is a quote,
Another-
a quote from my son. I just thought it was possibly the cutest thing I'd ever heard was the fact that you have to remember how old Sally really is. And that she's watching her glamorous mother. We'll see her do a lot of this in the season. And that Betty does not have time for her, and that Grandpa Gene is really filling in. And Betty is upset with how she looks as a pregnant woman, and that's going to be important when Henry approaches her.
So where does Sally go right away after her
To go
mother
see
rejects
Grandpa
her?
Gene, yes. And then there was some debate about how this would work. I hope there's no debate about why she did it. I don't know that I can put it into words, but and then you have the toilet flushing there, so you know where Grandpa Gene is. Sound people are always on top of it. Hey,
This is, yeah.
the thing about this to me too is this is the first time we'd seen Joan and Greg together, and we really had to establish for the audience what this relationship was. And I love that you see them. Last time we saw him, he was raping her, and here you see that they are married and they have a relationship.
Everyone is curious coming into season 3, what is the relationship going to be like if they're married? And you really get a sense of how Joan has managed to make this work, the playfulness.
And that vase.
Soon to be famous vase.
That's not the actual vase because we had to do one to be broken, but
Not in your home.
I love that Joan knows everything, and he could express his anxiety here when we talked about this, like in a masculine way. Because you don't want to think that
He's going to expect to sit there and he's
you don't want to think that he's like a nervous Nelly, you know, that he's like afraid of these people. You want to show that it's important to him. And he has this old-fashioned husband thing where he's always
Right.
putting his foot down, and of course,
But ultimately, she wins the fight.
yeah, she does. Many people have told me that this is a quotable quote for them. I don't want to have a fight, then stop talking.
I think it might be on the back of the T-shirt.
And I love him that he's handsome and that she appreciates it, and that's
That's what I love is how she looks at him, which no one's expecting after season 2. But she
Right.
really she really has the hots for him.
yeah. Him being handsome was very important to the whole
That's what she signed up
package.
for.
Yeah.
That and him being a doctor.
Yes. Don is getting ready. I love that he's putting on his armor, as it were. And I love this is the whole family dynamic of having this man in his house. You really get it here.
I know I look good for my condition, but I'm still in my condition.
I love that line.
She's not happy about it, I gotta say, but I love this.
I had $35.
Now we know that Jean. Oh, let's just look how funny Don.
Why don't you go sit down and we'll all look for it?
You look for it with
Because everything. I thought the tension. There's racial tension in here. This is about class again. Who works for who? Who's in charge of who? And that he is perceived as being ill, and he has
There's
been
the generational tension of
right.
We're wondering if he's crazy or not.
Right, and that he's willing to
answer to every problem.
No, just this particular problem.
I love that. They treat him like a child, and he's willing to be perceived as being crazy. He knows fairly
make
early
his
on.
point.
Yeah, he protects Sally. She can be trusted. This is about her honor with him.
And you see her watching him.
But I love that there's this extra thing in it, which is that we were terrified that Carla's going to be accused of this, as is Carla.
Forgot how many tourists
And here is the entrance of a very interesting person, guy who does not work, who is a drug dealer, who does look a lot like Tom Cruise
And Christian Bale.
and Christian Bale, and was also an actual.
He was in an a cappella group at Harvard.
Yes, he mentioned both of those things, and they.
He mentioned them to me too.
Yes, and I would say normally, his name is Miles. He did a great job. Normally, that would be the kind of thing that would keep you from getting a job.
But in this case,
In this case, we were like, fantastic.
great. They're actually on set. Michael and Miles were jamming on their guitars at like 3 in the
really?
morning.
Yes.
Really got into it.
I love this. Again, a class relationship here. Smitty is from one place. Paul went to Princeton, and he hasn't called this guy for many reasons. And I love the whole drug dealer behavior. I'm not speaking from experience here. I'm just saying that there are times when you want something from somebody and you don't want to have to call them, and then when you do call them, they're well aware of it, and they're not. Probably all of this guy's relationships are like this, are against their captive audiences.
Exactly.
And I love that line. Have you ever looked out this window? Because
Oh,
to me, it's
fantastic.
like no, only about 50 times a day.
Great.
Jen Getzinger, wow, and Chris Manley and Dan Bishop,
And Amy
Amy
Wells.
Wells, Janie Bryant. This is the kind of thing where you write it and you just say, please, is there any way to pull this off? The extras, everything. Everyone is at this party.
I love the way all the couples rush the queen bee and king. I mean, they are.
Well, this was, this is a work story to me. This is about how work is interlaced with that. And
In a way, you find out more about the politics of Sterling Cooper here than you do even when you're in the
Yeah,
office.
right.
Because the wives add a whole other dimension.
And I love Harry Crane's wife, her climbing, and then Alison Brie, another one of these actors who is always aware of her circumstances, and what that means is constantly thinking about the psychological condition of the characters. So everything that they've ever done in the show is present. So she knows that they're unable to have a baby. That was not in the script.
One next to him, Hannah.
And here is always a joy for me to see Don and Pete. And
I love when he
see-
says, don't hand out your car.
and then see that they're there for. And Pete's from this world, and Don isn't. This is Roger's world. That dance stand with the logo on it. Oh my God!
Maybe it fell out of
And
your
here's
pocket.
Carla fighting for her life, basically.
Well, I didn't take it.
I didn't say you did.
Not yet.
Will you stop it, Viola?
My
Of
name's
course,
not Viola. It's Carla.
I've gotten a lot of comments on this
Have
line.
you?
Also, we don't all know each other.
Now, Viola was the nanny for Betty.
Yeah, was
season
Betty's.
2.
That was Betty's housekeeper and nanny, and he obviously knew Viola for years. She was taking care of him.
Really?
Now we reveal that Gene may have mistaken that name and may not be all there, but he knows exactly what's going on. This is a great shot.
This is terrific.
And here we had an issue about how are people going to play, high. Well, this is before this. To me, this is about Peggy's not part of the party. Peggy's as much an outsider to that world as Paul is to his world, as Don is to that world, as Connie is to that world. It's
all about who belongs, who doesn't belong, who's in,
Right.
who's out. It plays beautifully. And here's her gatekeeper.
yeah.
They're in Mr. Kinsey's office. I know what they're doing. You
And here's a piece of maternal advice.
All I'm saying is they obviously don't want to work, so you should just go home.
This story to me was such a great, as was the story that we did where
The dog runs right up to the bowl of food.
I love this. This is this is a layman's observation on advertising, which we all do, and advertising people hate. And Smitty constantly commenting on this guy who he obviously has contempt for. We find out he went we know he went to Michigan, but he's of a different class than this guy. They all are.
But unlike Paul, he's not insecure, and he sort of sees the guy for who he is.
How are you?
Jeffrey Graves.
Who's not insecure? I'm sorry.
Minnie's not insecure.
Sure. He sees Paul for who he sees him for who he is.
It's Saturday, for God's sake.
Now, they all expect that Peggy's going to be a wet blanket and ruin this.
We'll end up with nothing.
And she can't believe that they would do this without her.
I've got some ideas we can kick around.
And he keeps hitting on her, which I love.
Name, sweetheart.
Look.
Peggy Olson.
I
I
don't-
want to smoke some marijuana.
Yes. There's so many lines.
No, I know. It's
episode.
really.
Except brassieres and body odor and
I
makeup.
love that line. That's I remember reading that and saying like she's that's exactly what she said. It's exactly what she says. She's
Jesus, give it a rest.
Paul says it's okay. Smitty likes Peggy. Jeffrey likes Peggy.
Everyone but Paul loves her.
And some of it could be for Jeffrey, just that she's the only woman in the room at that point. I don't know.
Probably.
But Paul's over Peggy. And I love Elizabeth's. It's said that she does it with intensity, I think, or something like that.
You said she's serious about smoking.
Yeah, serious about smoking.
Yeah, seriously. And I love this transition.
Yeah. Now, this...
I'll let you feel this one, Matt.
I have... You know what? I have to say, my surprise about this scene is that people were not more offended by it. It's period. In fact, they were more interested in the fact that apparently the symbols in the background are not right for the year than they were that there's a guy singing in blackface.
The blackface is very period appropriate, but not the symbols.
We did a lot of research on this. I did it not to do it alone. I did it to distinguish, talk about people fiddling while Rome's burning, talking about an old guard, talking about something that these people went to these clubs so they could behave the way they wanted to. They still behave this way. It's documented that this went on at this time.
And one of our writers called her stepfather, who said, yes, this went on.
And he was
country
also
clubs.
added that it might have gone on a couple of weeks ago also.
Yeah, a little later than.
But this idea about him, Don is disgusted by it. Pete is not thrilled with it either.
That's what's interesting to me, who's accepting and approving, and how Pete, who we always think of as being part of this guard, is actually disgusted by it too.
And this scene is obviously crucial to this relationship, but also it stood on its own, which
Absolutely.
And there's no bourbon.
was who Don is.
I love when he jumps over the table. That was in the script, by the way.
And him
it's a
jumping
great...
over the bar, I was
Just when I
literally
thought Don Draper could not be any cooler, Matt makes him jump over the bar.
I was like, why not? He can do it. And then he makes this drink through. This was a production choice of mine that is frustrating to sound people, frustrating to camera people, frustrating to actors. But I didn't want, to me, it's like watching somebody dance, which is what a lot of this show had, a lot of singing and dancing in it. And I felt like, do it wide and show that he's doing it, because part of the story is that Don was a bartender
And knows how to fix a drink.
Right.
I am at work.
And
It's a great detail for the
Disguised as
scene.
party.
I'm at work disguised as a wedding.
and I love that you got so much out of this man right away, going to other people's
Are we
weddings.
allowed to say who he is?
Well, we can say it now. Yeah, I mean, he's
it a secret?
Yeah, no, it's not a secret anymore. I wanted it to be a secret to the audience. I think someone on the internet, because I said he was from San Antonio, New Mexico, which is a very specific place. People guessed, and his name was Connie. And it was actually kind of thrilling to me, as irritated as I was that the surprise had been blown for some people, that anyone was paying that close attention, because I'm constantly hoping that people do. But his reverie about
About
being on the outside. I identify with it. I know that the audience identifies with it, and that Don and here.
It's different inside.
And we talked about for this episode that both Don and Betty will have a sort of bonding affair moment, and this really is it for Don.
Yeah.
This is him falling in love with
Yeah.
Connie.
And the idea that he was there from before it was a state, just to explain that someone who's 75 years old in 1963, what kind of history that kind of lifespan is covering.
And something we do often on the show that I love about the show is that with the older characters, we mention where they were, and you really get a sense
I'm like, oh my
of the
God,
history
you
of-
lived through it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
Don lived through the Depression. He's
Korean
not.
War.
Yeah, right. How could that be? He's my age. No,
Right.
he's not.
And that Grandpa Gene was in World War I. It's just something
Yeah.
that we constantly remind the audience, and it's really cool.
I also love the fact that I was going to say just one more thing about the blackface, is that it's a twofold thing. It's one, look at them at play and how oblivious they are, the private world that they live in, and also was about Don was affronted by Roger's love for his wife. He doesn't have it. And then there was this big issue about Don telling this story and whether you like him or not. And I think our ending decision
We
was...
decided we liked him.
We decided that whenever Don tells us anything about his past, we'd like to hear it.
We're so hungry for anything about Dick Whitman. We'll take anything.
I don't know. Maybe it says something about me, but I love that Don can tell a lot about himself to a stranger. And I love that him peeing in the trunks of those cars says, I was an angry kid once about all this stuff, and I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And a lot of his problem is with Roger. But he always feels like
Which
he's
has
on
been
the
simmering
outside.
all
Yeah.
season, since the beginning. He's just felt that we see this rift sort of beneath the surface, and here it bubbles up.
In this country club bar, and that there's another party going on there even. It's just such a full world. Great shot. How stoned were they going to act? I came down there to regulate it. Michael nailed this. The eating of the potato chips. It's potato chips, which of course we know they have in the office.
I am hungry, but it's not worth moving.
She is a riot.
And
Makes me wish I had a job.
Jeffrey doesn't work.
Smitty's still on the
Now they
jiggles.
have an inside joke here that offends Jeffrey.
What are you laughing about?
You do have a job, Jeffrey. You're a drug pusher.
And not to be lost, one of the great things about the directing and cinematography in the shot is when you see the shadow of another character on a character like that, and it holds them together in that shot. There's a lot of it in this episode because of the sunset,
Right.
And you know, it's a very intimate, realistic. It's just something that's very hard to do,
You're arrogant.
or to be reminded to do.
You can't sing.
This to me was
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here not to fight.
the idea that this was the thing that, after telling Kinsey they had no class, that this was offensive to him, to me, was really kind of great.
And speaks true to the Tiger Zone experience. The ultimate insult.
Well, I've never understood the macho-ness of these singing groups when they're basically singing. And by the way,
And let them be the judge.
his benefit is that you never belonged, you don't belong, and of course they bond at the end of it. They miss college.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire.
Peggy and Smitty are just confused as to what's happening.
Well, you try not to have too much of a TV thing, you know. Whenever people clap in unison or anything like that, you worry about it. But I felt they're high. Paul is definitely on their side, not the drug dealer who won't leave,
Right.
who insisted on smoking the drugs before they got to. And Jeffrey relents.
Honey, you'll lose me.
Then you'll be left alone, oh baby.
And I love this sweetness of this.
And tell me
I just don't think that's where you'll end up.
Yeah.
I am so high.
I think never been more appropriate to say something like that. Now here's Betty at this party. She's from the country club. We heard from Trudy.
I wish you were waiting for me.
And this man sees her pregnant and recognizes her beauty. It's not something that goes along with sexuality.
And it's
she's
very
certainly
unusual.
not feeling that way.
When you're pregnant, you're not expecting any man to notice you. So that really
No,
is.
it's part of why her vanity is so offended by it. It's not, to her, she's fat. And
But it's also a turn on to have a guy, when you feel fat, come up to you and say.
I think it's beyond a turn on. I think that this changed her brain chemistry.
And January did a wonderful job of just in her face, just in such a slight transformation when he comes up.
She's stunned. And I know some people thought this was creepy or something. I don't know how to explain the reality of human behavior. Maybe they think it's creepy because they're watching two strangers doing it, but this is based on the truth. And I don't find it creepy. I find it to be, it's a come on. And Henry does sort of appear there, which I think is the only part of it that still feels a little menacing in some way. But he's treating her, she hasn't been seen in months. No one has even noticed her. She's
Who are you waiting for?
struck. And then he just makes it better by telling her,
These things stag,
look at her.
but then you run
And he's vulnerable with her by admitting he can't show up to these things stag. There's something very attractive about him to her.
He also is letting her know that he's not married.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm melting.
A woman who's pregnant is definitely taken. But she is that beautiful, folks. I feel like she's the star of a TV show, and everybody in the show is that beautiful. But I believe that a man might do a lot of strange things to even have a conversation with her. This was this is, I think, a very un-TV depiction of doctors, but very accurate from my experience. And it's a certain kind of doctors.
And this is
I don't
very
wanna
important
just
to you to
bash
show
doctors.
this socioeconomic group of doctors and how they really
Absolutely.
talk. And you really get three generations here. The older couple, experienced doctor. There, Joan and Greg obviously are
And
somewhere
the
in the
nurse
middle.
who married the chief resident. And how, again, just like at the Derby Day, this is a work party. And Joan is there to make Greg look good.
She's his best asset.
Right. And now the women are going in the kitchen, and the guys are a bunch of jocks. It's a locker room. I want to say that Joan has to lay on the floor on those pillows for only a brief second, but it was very important to me that it happened, and it does exactly what I wanted. She is in charge of
She commands
everything.
attention. It really worked.
And I love this commiseration and warning. It's not what you expect people to say, but it's very much what this woman must think.
One day you'll look back on this time and smile. Just don't get pregnant.
Excuse me?
To the pregnant woman. I love that actress.
All these
They're
actors were
all-
amazing. It was.
Yeah.
It's hard to come on set, not know anyone, and do your job, and they really did an amazing job.
The fact that Greg can get a woman like you.
And I love this, that there is a slight suggestion as the scenes go on, starting here, that Greg might not be up to snuff.
You start thinking, what exactly is going on? Why is
Right.
she saying this to me?
Why was Greg so nervous? And here we have almost the resolution of the story. This really happened to me with my grandfather. I hate to admit it. I was older than Sally, and he had no history of Alzheimer's or anything. And I did this, and I don't know why I took the money from him. Maybe it's just that human instinct.
Were you testing him because he loved
I know
you
they
so much?
they call it testing, but it's really the people who are the nicest to you. You are the worst to. And
Because they're safe.
You can say, we can have a therapy session right now.
Should I lie down?
All I knew is that there was the truth here. And Janie put her under, we wrote her under this thing, and Jen shot this beautifully, and I love this red jumper. And
With the socks.
yeah, and that Sally is on the outside of this doorway just trying to, the kid thing. Was this Frank Pearson who came up with this, that she would just throw it?
Yes.
And hope that someone would notice
Bob
it?
Levinson.
Really?
She said she would throw it and just hope that,
That someone notice it.
Grandpa, is this your money?
And
I don't know.
and now he knows everything that's going on here. And Carla's starting to figure it out, I think, to some degree.
but he's going to make her sweat.
He's going to.
He's trying to teach
I
her a
love that
lesson.
shot.
That's
I love that shot. That was really, that is, talk about a POV shot. You feel like you were a little kid. Bobby doesn't give a crap. And she's going to have to eat crow. You can tell
We've
from her
all been in
face
her
she's lying.
shoes. I remember
Yeah.
being a kid and being in trouble and
Well,
being
having been an adult on it, you know from their face that they're lying, and they can't hide it, and then you have a choice. Look at her; she's on the verge of tears. This actress is so in control of what she's doing,
Sally, your food's
Incredible.
getting cold.
and I love that they sit down and eat. It's an act of love from him. That's what I love. That's what it was. It's a great shot too.
With Carla at the counter.
Yeah.
It's really great.
The family. Oh, here we have.
Now we see who gets to sit at the table, Don and Betty, and
Right.
it's Pete and Trudy.
Right.
Behind them, you can see Harry and Jen sort of peeking over.
And I also love that Betty is comfortable here, and this is real work conversation. Look
Well,
at that.
you said, Matt, that Trudy and Betty, of course, would get along, and
Yes.
it makes total sense that.
And that
Trudy,
Peggy and that Betty, Trudy and Pete, their marriage is
Great.
substantial in a
and
very
feels real. They can tease each other.
I love this that they come over to kiss butt, and there's this whole thing running through it about Don dancing with Betty, and
Where she told him, "I'd like to dance,"
and he won't dance with her, and she keeps covering for him more and more and more.
embarrassing to her.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you two on the dance floor.
Oh, I don't move that well right now.
And I love that Jennifer made him go over and say hi to your boss. It's the Christmas party. I'm sorry.
It's the Christmas
It's
party.
everybody's and let that look that Allie Brie gives there. Well, Roger's drunk, and now we get to find out who this stranger was.
Henry works in the governor's office.
So we're focused on Betty and Henry as they're introduced.
Yes. And then it's a very sexy situation to me that they've already met and under those
incredibly sexy.
circumstances. And now she finds out he works for the governor.
Now, this is where the history god smiled down on us. We wanted to do Derby Day, and we
Right.
said, well, what was happening on May 4th? We found out Nelson Rockefeller got married for a second time, which was perfect because Henry Francis works for him.
And also because that marriage became a symbol of the season, which is she left her 4 children to marry him, and went to Reno and got divorced. And I wanted this guy to have a substantial job, and I wanted to have a little Westchester feel to it, and I wanted to be also about what I felt was a genuine. There's lots of conflict with it, but there was a real humanity to all parts of the United States at that time. It was a belief that we should try and be better. And I know there's plenty of hate and everything in plenty of places, but certainly the Republican Party was filled with people who were interested in what was going to happen with civil rights and things that we don't associate with
Right.
conservatives
Nelson
at all.
Rockefeller was pretty moderate, so we always forget. We always remember Goldwater
We forget the
because
whole
he was the
idea.
winner.
Yeah, but you know what? Even Goldwater, despite his war, you look at Nixon as things went on, the moderate Republican is gone.
No, this is one of my favorite parts of the episode.
Yeah, this is just, we had them trained for this thing. And
they rehearsed for weeks for this.
And this is already a retro dance for their generation, but there's no one who would have the education and upbringing of Pete and Trudy who would not have had to learn how to do the Charleston and the cotillion. And would not do it whenever these
It
parties...
really speaks to class that they know how to do the Charleston,
Yeah.
something that they would have learned for coming out.
Right. This party is in their world, and this world of Derby Day and the country club is really frozen in the 1920s.
Right.
That was the peak of it.
And I love how they edge Jennifer and Harry off the
Yeah,
dance
they did a
floor.
great job. Look how mortified she is. And Ken...
And pissed off at Harry.
The ultimate observation about the work party is Ken should have brought a date.
I mean, it's a funny joke, but it's so true of the story, is
Yeah.
that he's left out. And
I'm sure he thought, we had a scene that we had to cut. He definitely thought he was going to go and
Right.
pick up a hot
pick up
girl
a hot
there.
girl. And
Yeah.
This is the way the world ends, not with a bang.
This is
Again,
a great transition into the scene.
it's well shot. Well acted, and I love the intimacy of it. And it's nighttime there, and that somehow Paul is freaking out because of the weed, and also that
Michigan.
Cuba is mentioned, the missile crisis, which they haven't gotten over.
Can you believe her?
I keep thinking about rum
And I think that the Elliot there was not just about him being educated, but was also related to the fall of the Roman Empire. And
But we didn't.
I love this reminder that we almost died, the reminder of the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is, 6 months after 9/11, we were still talking about it.
Yeah.
This is very much on their minds. And,
Oh, yeah.
and the way you brought that in was really great.
it will be for a long time, especially.
It was a defining moment. And
And now was the idea is what would marijuana do to Peggy? Because she's got a lot of the story.
there was a lot of
this season
talk
was
in the
about her.
room about how this would affect Peggy.
I always felt like her story for the season was about her becoming more like Dawn, and I felt that, like Dawn's drinking, this probably would help her think in a different way. She got to do what Paul thought it was going to do for her, and I think Smitty's so disappointed he wanted to go on the roof, but I love that
I'm in a very good place right now.
she's confident about her thoughts.
Without it almost gets rid of all her neuroses and just lets her be uninhibited. And
Now he's mad, cock blocking him.
ultimately, even lying down, Paul cock blocked him.
And then here's the scene. This shot to me is amazing. Jennifer did it with this purse. This is one of my favorite scenes of the season. And it's mostly about your expectations, and it's mostly about Peggy's ability to, she grows right in front of us.
Yeah.
You think I don't know what you've been doing in there? I don't know what to say.
I've got nothing to hide.
Well, you're free to do whatever you want, but you're not thinking about your future.
The thing is, I have a job. I have my own office with my name on the door.
I had the word mom in here at some point. Remember that she was going to say that, like, because she was stoned. But this...
You don't need it because you see the mother-daughter relationship and you see her separating almost before our very eyes. I mean, this was really what she wants to say to her own mother. There was...
And it was filled with kindness instead of, like, hostility. It was literally adulthood.
Well, that's a surprise.
This realization on her face.
You're scared.
That she made that transition to this. And she's condescending, which is what's so great about it. But I just love... Peggy has her own subtext. She has her own experience of this. And she's also drawing a line in the border about this woman working for her.
She's making... all of trespassed on their boundaries, and she's creating boundaries, something she hasn't been able to do at home, and it's really beautiful.
So true. And then
I love the comedic end.
I can't never, ever skip a joke like that.
She is stoned still.
I need you to get the dictaphone set up, and I need a glass of water, and then you can go.
And you put this in here, this moment of kindness. And Olive.
Thank you.
And of course, it's a cross. Peggy, that's important to Peggy.
Yeah.
And I will say, I personally squished that hair bump out, so don't judge do not judge the hair, people. I wanted it messed up, and I put my hands on it, and they let me do it. Lucia, do not be mad when you hear this.
Like that. Go to Lord and Tara and ask for my friend Bunny Appel. She'll take care of you.
You really know everything, Joan.
This was another moment of nostalgia. There's so much nostalgia in the show. The college part, the country club, Don and Betty.
There are a lot of references to the 20s and the early part of the century.
And here's this moment where where Greg is awkwardly slighted and Joan didn't even know it.
Look, Greg, it's a complicated operation.
It is a complicated operation. We researced this.
We did a lot of research. So what we find out here is that Greg had what do we call a bad result? They never actually, the doctor said they never actually say a death. Just a bad result.
Every once in a while.
And Joan hasn't heard this before.
And we know this is very telling and this means something for his career.
Yes, and there's the professional, the boss's wife. The queen knows that things are awkward.
Changes the subject. And Greg has lost his footing already. It's
the naturalness between all these other couples, too.
Many talents. You should play for them.
And now he's going to have her dance monkey dance for him. But it's really, I did not see this as a humiliation by nature. I saw this as an attempt for him to, and by the way, Christina played the accordion before this. She told me that. I've been trying to figure it out for a long time. And that shot, Greg there saying, please make me look good.
I love this look between them.
It'll be just like the olden days.
And I love this.
He's trying to
what?
He's trying to reduce his anxiety by using her, which is his very best asset, and
they
she
all
goes
are.
along with it.
It's just like the Derby Day. They're all using their wives. That's why it's so funny when Jane does this for Roger, and Don's using Betty the same way, but without.
Absolutely. And Pete uses Trudy.
But
only Jennifer really wants to be used. It doesn't really work.
Well, they're a team, some of these other people, and I think they're a team here, but I think you get the sense that Joan did not want to do this, and she's bailing him out, and I think there is that, to me, even for Joan, that she is humiliated here.
That's the thing. I think you're right. Greg didn't do it to humiliate her, but it is humiliating. She is a dancing monkey.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like when they had Sally do ballet at the party. It's appropriate to have your kid do that.
But not to have your wife.
Yeah.
We did a lot of takes of this, and Christina every time brought something different to it. It was amazing.
She,
that look to Greg.
She's a very, very complicated actress, and every.
I have to say, this horse. I don't know if you remember, Matt, in the production meeting. You're like, what I'd really, really love is to have an ice sculpture horse, and there you go. Every detail.
Now, family hold back is my mother. And I love how drunk Jane is here. And I love that it goes from Dawn and Betty bonding over this.
And enjoying it.
This
is the most fun they've had the whole party.
The physical reality of what Peyton does here, Peyton, who plays Jane, she's just really amazing. She's earnest. It's almost like Peggy when she's stoned. She's oblivious to the fact of...
Aren't they a beautiful couple? I knew you two would get back together.
There's a betrayal.
I never had any doubt.
And it's so subtle. You don't see it coming.
Yeah.
I'll take care of her.
Dawn should have never told her.
Yeah.
Betty can't believe Betty is so into the social consciousness, especially
But
here.
Dawn could help it. She was his secretary. Of course he's going to let her know he's not sleeping
He
at
didn't want
home.
to.
He didn't want to. And then she pulls his buckle, which is sort of sexual, and Roger shows up.
Yeah. And I
Timing.
think she did rip his pants on one of the takes, I'm pretty sure.
She was pretty aggressive.
And I love this, that she...
Will someone please get her a glass of milk?
Just so everybody knows, that's not just him treating like her child. A glass of milk was considered the antidote to drunkenness, just
Which
like
I
hot
did not
coffee.
know.
Yes.
Very interesting.
You'll see at the end of the party, all the people are drinking milk,
milk.
trying to get themselves sober enough to go in
drive
the
home.
car. Yeah, I think I don't know what their perception was. Maybe it's a wives' tale.
It was, yeah.
And here's this confrontation that at the script stage we knew was very important, at the story stage. And I was not on set when they shot this, and you came back and told me about it, and I was kind of blown away with the intensity of it. And I mean, this is the ultimate expression of class. Don's got his thing, which is you ruined everything by
And to
marrying
say
this
your
woman.
wife's drunk is such an offensive thing to say.
Yeah,
It's like throwing the gauntlet.
It is.
I think Frank Pearson actually said that in the room. Your wife's drunk is a really...
Yeah. I have said it to someone. I know that.
And when Roger comes back with, you get to choose your guests, it's just a way of saying you don't belong here. You're not of my class.
They would have loved to have had a party with Roger, Jeffrey the drug dealer,
Right.
Trudy,
Exactly.
Betty.
I love
And
the
I love
shot.
this shot
It's so
too.
Scary.
Good night, Grandpa.
She doesn't know where they stand. And he did this great turn where he's angry at her and you don't know what's going to happen. I think
You're half expecting him to yell at her. And
Oh, I would totally expect the television show thing here is a lecture about
a
why I
lecture.
did this and why you do this and your
It's
parents
for the
don't need
Brady
to do
Bunch.
everything. Yeah, exactly. And he's not a sentimental person, but this becomes a very sentimental scene because of it.
it's because he's so unsentimental as a character that every scene with him just tugs at my heartstrings.
Yeah. I also feel, I think he's a life raft for her. There's no one else who sees her.
The rustic manners of a prince who disdained such glory
This is a great quote.
and was insensible of such happiness. Soon disgusted the delicacy of his subjects
You see her slowly relaxing
and the
into it.
effeminate
Right.
Orientals.
And I also love that, the effeminate Oriental. I also love this, this was about the decadence of all this. And here, this song was picked, Memories of You. I knew it was sentimental, and then you see Roger and Jane dancing, which Dawn wouldn't even do.
Right. And Don watching them and realizing they really are in love for all he said to Roger. He doesn't have that. And that longing.
Yeah. And, this is not an accident, but there is, this ending of this is not unrelated to La Notte. I will not lie, steal from the best. I felt like the silent reuniting of these two people, and that maybe Betty's love for him has already waned in some way. And it was all written with him to have the coat and everything, and we went and shot this elsewhere. But what was beautiful about it is John added this thing of dropping the stuff.
Which is great.
Yeah, and I envisioned it in my mind being this wide shot of the meeting, and we were going to have it by a sand trap on the golf course, I think, which is what's in La Notte.
Right.
And, but what I really wanted was to say, both of these people, it's going to be confusing emotionally because they're both kissing other people.
And because it's so dark, like you said, you can't really make out who you're with, so you can sort of project your fantasy of who you're thinking of.
But he's giving her what she wants, and it is romantic, but something has
It's so
happened. Something
sad.
bad has happened, yeah. And him dropping this stuff, he's kissing who she wants to be, who he wants her to be, and she's kissing who...
And I love it's in a wide shot. The instinct would be for me to go close, but when you're just in
Yeah.
a wide shot, you're really...
This is an amazing shot.
Yeah,
Chris
it's incredible.
Manley and Jennifer, and John decided to drop the stuff,
Yeah.
and it literally was like passion. or at least an
That's what it's
effort.
effort of passion. Actually, I hadn't thought of that until you just said that.
Oh, that's good. It's
I
a
learned something today.
It's a really special episode, and
It really is. I mean,
I know.
I was like, again.
Yeah, I know. You really.
It was.
You see how much goes into it, and how many different people, and all the different.
And there was
elements.
a lot going on here with the music and all the different, and the art direction. I mean, it's.
Yeah. People really raising their game to have a special thing, and I hope that the audience appreciates that. This is the kind of thing where it just gets mentioned that they're going to a party, and you go out there, and the effort required, and that the office is there, but this is the story of these people's lives. They carry it wherever they go.